but it takes a second to get over there.
Oh,
See,
yeah,
from there, it has to go to the satellite and work through all the servers, and then it shows up on our phone. All right, well, let's go ahead. We'll do this thing. All right. Good morning, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Central Texas, where we think more expansively, love more completely, and live more joyously. Yeah. And we are live and we're live. We're here and we're there. We're now and we're then. We're this and we're that. Anyway, I digress, as I sometimes want to do. All right, and thank you to Clark for a beautiful meditation. We appreciate that. Yay, God, for that. All right, and now we come to why we're here this morning. Let's look at our opening affirmation on the top of page 4 in your programs. And we'll say this together to come together in consciousness. And it says, we believe that there is an infinite power and wisdom that creates everything. We are expressions of this same power and wisdom. The thoughts, beliefs, and expectations we entertain with the most energy become our experience of life. When we change our energy and our attention, our experience changes to match. All right. And birthdays, we have the orangest person in the room. All right. And it is my favorite color. I told you this. On Wednesday, you're going to have a birthday. We will celebrate that with you now and then and beyond. So thank you for that. And today, we are celebrating, today is my mother's birthday. So there's a lot to that, but it's a good thing. We are also celebrating the birth of Daniel Boone, who got a bar out in Tennessee. And then, Marie Antoinette gets a bad rap, but I think she offered everybody cake, so it was at least she was trying to give us dessert, right? And actor Burt Lancaster, Rudy Van Gelder, you won't recognize that unless you're a jazz head like I am. He was an engineer that recorded all, like Miles Coltrane, all that stuff, all those famous records back in the late 50s and 60s. And then the first person that I ever saw play keyboards, 2 different keyboards like this, was Keith Emerson of the Lake and Palmer things, and Katie Lang, and your friend Ross from Friends, David Schwimmer, is how I say that. Also, we have our Thursday night book study. I think we've got 2 more weeks left of that. The book, No Self, No Problem, How Neuroscience is Catching Up to Buddhism, and we will continue that on the Zoom platform. There's links in different places on the website and whatnot. You can find that. Let me invite Clark to come up and do an opening reading and treatment.
So I can hold it up and say, here, you might want.
I do, yeah, thanks.
Great. Oh, thank you, Walt. Today's reading comes from the October Science of Mind, How God Meets Our Needs by Ernest Holmes. And in part, he says, you and I happen to be explorers in an adventure of faith in the invisible. In an adventure of faith, we believe all things are possible in God, who intends us to be whole and happy. We are just beginning to learn that the laws of mind and spirit are real, that they can be used, for specific purposes, and we found a key to the use of these laws. That key is faith. So let us take that into affirmative prayer. There is a presence, a power in the universe, so much more powerful than we are. And when we use this power, every time we think, believe, and know for ourselves and others. And this power is our natural state. And that presence is everywhere. It is everything. There is nowhere that this presence is not. It is within, it is without, it is. And it is all-knowing. It is that in the center of our being which is our intuition, which populates our conscious mind with the truth, with even salvation at the time that we need it most. We can trust this presence. And its power, it is the only power, lest our minds give power to something other. And there is nothing other. There is only Spirit. And I know that I'm aligned with that Spirit and its laws, the unseen, the invisible. And we explore this and use it as we come to understand it, as we atone or undo that which has kept us bound and open to its influx. And this guards, making our way straight, smooth, safe, easy, successful when we know it for ourselves. And this is our empowerment given. It's a gift for all to use. And I give thanks that such a power exists within us to direct law for specific purpose, to manifest as our experience. This we can control with practice and with right mind and action leading to right action in our affairs. So giving thanks for all of that movement of energy, I release this word, knowing that having spoken it, it is corresponded to perfectly, reliably, as our experience manifested by word and law. Loving it, giving gratitude, I release it completely. And let us say together, please, and so it is now. And now, I would like to introduce our musical guest, one of the South Austin
there you go.
Moonlighters.
I haven't heard that one yet.
So thank you. Chris Beal, everyone. Please welcome him.
Thank you, everybody. So I'm going to do a tune that I wrote a number of years ago, in keeping with kind of this last weekend. You know, we celebrated, I guess, Halloween, which is kind of poking fun at mortality. And then yesterday was Day of the Dead, and that's where we celebrate the ones that have passed on before us. A lot of times they celebrate the good things about a person's life. And this is kind of a morbid song, so I figured it would fit. No, it's a tune that I wrote about an experience that I had one time back in my old hometown of Abilene. And yeah, there's a lot to that, but we won't unpack that. But anyway, I walked into a garage sale one time, and because I'm a garage sale kind of guy, and the things that happened there were just profound, which it can be at garage sales. I don't know if you know this or not, but there are some profound experiences to be had when you're surrounded by people that you wouldn't normally be surrounded by. There's no affinity, connection between all those people other than you're human and you have stuff. And those two things, are the only qualifiers for that affinity. So I met these people at the garage sale, and I knew that there was a song tied up in all of that stuff. So I sat down and wrote it, and here it goes. It's a song called Sunny. 2013. He'd met some woman online and headed down to Abilene. Hit the highway in December, headed for the sunshine away down south. The kids were grown and all on their own, and the rest is what he'll make it now. Well, he grew up in the golden age, never throwing nothing away. He bought and fixed and sold and worked with his hands on something every day. Was a time he talked about leaving, get rid of everything holding him down. But years are the only thing that went away, and the rest is what he'll make it now. Well, it's coming over what you've stacked up, knocks you down when you get back up, takes you out and you can't see how. You're gonna do what you gotta do now. You're gonna do what you gotta do now. Hey, Her old man left slowly, the kind of leaving that don't go away. Well, she thinks about him all the time, takes it day by day. Said it's hard to hold on to the memory of a man, not the battle that took him down. And I just stood there with nothing to say. Well, the rest is what you make it now. Well, it's coming over what you've stacked up, knocks you down when you get back up, takes you out and you can't see how. You're gonna do what you gotta do now. It's coming over what you've stacked up, knocking you down when you're getting back up, takes you out and you can't see how. You're gonna do what you gotta do now. You're gonna do what you gotta do now. Yeah.
Good job. All right, thank you, Chris. That's a whole talk in and of itself. We are all people and we all got stuff. I got stuff, you got stuff, we all got stuff. Now that's, I'm lucky, you're lucky, we're all lucky. All right, this morning we are going to conclude. Thank God, they all say. We're going to conclude our Question It series that we've had for the last few weeks, interrupted by some guest speakers like Donna and Tom and my friend Danny, who was in town talking to us about Buddhism. But we've looked at the importance of the spiritual practice of questioning everything. And when I tell you to question everything, I mean question everything. Even the spiritual practice of questioning everything is up for debate, right? So I think for the answer we find to our current question that we're searching for serves the purpose of satiating our curiosity and our imagination that got us pursuing the consideration of the existence of another possibility of something else available to us, okay? And it's available to us right here and right now, just as we are, with everything that's come before and everything that hasn't come before and everything that's come in. It all got us here to this moment. And that searching and finding is a good thing, because seeking and finding the answer and matching that up with a question and resolving that uncertainty is a valuable investment of our time, energy, attention, and resources. But we have to realize that whatever that answer is, however it shows up, however we get there, it's just the current answer revealed at our current level of understanding and awareness. And then what are we to do? We are to turn right around and question the answer that we came up with, okay? Question our findings as just any good scientist would do. Because whatever we know and wherever we are as a result of what we know and what we've done with it, how we are as we are because of what we know is always subject to change and evolve as our level of awareness and understanding evolves and expands through the living of our life and the experiencing of greater and greater levels of knowledge, exploration, experimentation, and imagination of what else is possible from here. Examining our beliefs, examining our belief systems, examining our assumptions, our reactions, our expectations, and all that leads us, that self-reflection leads us back to build and live from the paradigm that something else is always possible. And that since we become aware of that possibility, being in our general vicinity, that's something else, that next thing is close enough for us to start to seek and find and engage and enjoy and share that greater good that we find. And then last week, we looked at deepening the spiritual practice by asking better questions. The questions we're able to formulate in whatever way we can formulate them are again created and queried at the current level of awareness and understanding. And as we match those questions and the best answers we can find together, our awareness and understanding grows and evolves even further. And we start to reveal and engage the very same life we were living before the question and answer seeking and finding, and engage the very same life we're living on a different level as before. And look, nothing changed about life with your awareness and expansion of your awareness and understanding. Nothing changed about the way life works. But our paradigm, our identity, our approach and engagement of life changes and keeps on changing as we move forward. And then life being infinite in all directions, in all expressions, in all incarnations, means that no matter how expansive and significant our shifts may be, life will and life is responding, and life will keep responding to those shifts the exact same way life always does. Now, what I find amazing, and lately I find kind of amusing, as I've deepened this practice of questioning everything, is that life does respond to our queries, to our questions, to our seeking, to our finding. And it does respond, and often it provides the same things. It provides very similar answers to the same questions. But my understanding of what that answer is, and my interpretation of what that answer is, and my decisions about how to engage that wisdom found, and what's most likely to happen because of the resulting change, all that stuff changes in and of itself. So when you ask a question and you get a familiar answer, take just a moment and consider how that answer, that very same answer, that same experience is different now because I am different. The person asking the question is different, even if I'm asking the same question. Because even a slight difference, we've all experienced this in our life, a slight difference consistently pursued over a long enough period of time ends up making a significant difference in our journey, but also in our end destination. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, shares, we have immediate access to this intelligence, and in a very real sense, the answer to every question is potential within us because we are within it. We are within this intelligence. And it is available to us as we do the things and think the things that keep us available to it. Now, there are better questions that we will find and entertain as we connect the pairs of questions and answers along the way. And better questions lead to what? Better answers. That's right. Okay? Which then lead us to even better and more powerful questions, which lead us to more better and more powerful questions and answers. I have found that when I observe myself globalize something, an opinion or a belief, that's the times where I go from, this is true for me, and I morph that into, this is true for everyone. Or I hear myself make statements like I, you, us, them, always, or never, and then fill in the blank. I realize that's a great opportunity for me to ask myself one of my two favorite current multiplying questions. Why do I believe that, and what else is possible? Why do I believe that, and what else is possible? Because in an infinite universe, there are lots more possibilities than I'm initially able to see or even imagine from my current level of awareness and understanding. There was a wise old guy back in Greek times named Socrates. That's his name. That's how we say it in Texas. It's all right. He says, the unexamined life is not worth living. Most of us have heard that. And my interpretation of what he means is that a life that's not objectively observed, a life that's not filled with critical thinking, a life that's not spent in self-reflection will end up feeling like it's not meaningful. And that leads to a sense of despair and hopelessness. He's not suggesting to end it. That's not why he says it's not worth living. But to start from this very moment and examine what we're doing and what we're not doing, and then the results of that action or that inaction, and then make intelligent decisions and adjustments moving forward. Many of you who have been around here more than a minute have heard me talk about objectively observe yourself, right? Have you heard me say it? Okay, I just want to make sure. I know I say 3 things every week, and that's one of the 3 things. Meaning to observe and be introspective about what we're thinking, doing, saying, feeling, and expecting as we're thinking, doing, feeling, and expecting it. And to make sure that observation is objective, meaning we're not passing judgment on what it is or what it isn't. We're just gathering data for analysis. And we don't assign globalized meanings or ego stories about what it is or what it isn't. We just observe it. Now, for the longest time, I thought that was my version of Buddhist mindfulness. And in a way, it is, okay? Sure, it's being present and observing whatever I'm doing, which is always a good practice, which is mindfulness. But mindfulness is not just something that the Buddha taught us. Also, Brother Lawrence, a French Catholic monk in the 15th century, taught us. He called it practicing the presence of God, which he would do as he was going about his monastic duties. And he started his spiritual journey during his service in the 30-year War, which was around 1630. He saw a leafless tree in the middle of a battlefield. And while he's there waiting for things to turn into whatever they were going to turn into, he looks at the leafless tree and he goes, you know, in a few months that tree is going to be in full leaf and bloom. And so he thought, in that moment, he realized that that was kind of the eternal promise of life, that there was always a way, there was always something to come along, no matter what, a way for life to express itself, regardless of the circumstances. Just a little leafless tree that most people would ignore and walk past. See, it doesn't take much to get us going if we're really present and we're paying attention. Now, he didn't go from seeing the little leafless tree in the battlefield straight over to the enlightened practice of practicing the presence of God. But like everything else in his life, one thing started us in a direction, and as we continue, we build upon that initial insight, and as long as we continue to choose to continue to do that. Now, my suggestion of objectively observing is a mindfulness practice. I recognize that, but I think there's another layer to it. In our Thursday night reading of No Self, No Problem book, I realized that the gathering and analysis of data of what I'm thinking, doing, saying, feeling, and expecting satiates my left brain's, which one of those sides, satiates my left brain's need to categorize and compare what is to what I desire to be thinking, doing, feeling, saying, and expecting. Because I know that all that stuff together becomes my current paradigm and my current cause to be responded to by life as effects that match those things. Todd Bookspan shares, the best math you can learn is how to calculate the future cost of current decisions. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really why we do any spiritual practice, whatever you choose to do. And make no mistake about it, a spiritual practice is still a practice. And a practice is the actual application or use of an idea, belief, or method as opposed to theories and discussions related to it. Something that we do to turn an idea into an experience, and then the expansion and deepening of that idea and that experience. And the more time, energy, attention, and resources we invest in the expansion and deepening of any expression through the practice of it, the better we get at it. The easier it is for us to do it. And the more we identify ourselves as someone who does the practice and deepens the practice. So the investment of time, energy, attention, and resources now yields benefits now. We get a benefit of it as soon as we do it, as we're doing it. But it also yields benefits later. Benefits that we would not be able to access without the investment of the energy and the attention on the front end of that. Matsuo Basho says, do not seek to follow in the footsteps of the wise, seek what they sought. Right? I'm always amazed at people that want to go walk in the steps of Jesus. Think, okay, good, rock on. That realize it is a journey, right? But it's not about where he walked or what, it's about what he was after. Our bumper sticker of the week says this: questions pondered privately produce paradigm pivots. I can't even get it out in one breath. Yeah, we can learn from the experiences of others. We can learn from the answers others have found to the perennial questions. But we learn most from the self-contemplation of an idea. And then considering how to expand or amplify that within us and make a positive difference in our understanding and awareness and in our engagement of the life we're living. So when you want to know something, ask yourself first, because as Holmes just told us, there is an infinite intelligence in which we are which we are an expression of. And then spend time contemplating and examining possibilities that come up for you, because my next move is from where I am, not from where I was, and not from where they are or where they were. Yeah, other people can offer us an objective perspective, and that can be perfectly helpful at different times, but ultimately I must move from where I am to wherever I choose to go from here. Holmes goes on, he shares, the intellect brings us to the threshold, something else lifts us over into spiritual knowing. See, questions can help us satisfy our intellect's curiosity, and they get us in the general vicinity, and they are part of the heavy lifting required for relocating us to be in the spot, mentally and physically, close enough for transformation. And then we get that last little nudge that gets us in the proper alignment, and that's all it takes. It's just as we don't meditate as part of our regular spiritual practice, we don't meditate so that when we get in the middle of something that's uncomfortable, or we find ourselves in a quandary or a pickle, we can stop everything, disengage, ask for a timeout. I'm going to meditate. Okay? Maybe that's the answer, but in the living of your life, I don't know how practical that is. Right? We meditate so that we're more centered and more aware of our location of our center. So when we get in the middle of something that's uncomfortable, we're more likely to approach and engage it from a more centered attitude, a more centered identity, and a more centered paradigm. You know, we do any practice, whether that's a spiritual practice or practicing an instrument or whatever, getting the band together and practice. We do that so the beneficial energy and experience lingers with us throughout the rest of our days and the rest of our lives. I have found that, I was going to say our biggest challenge, I will say my biggest challenge, because I only know my experience. My biggest challenge is that I find something that works. I find something that benefits me. And then I stop doing it because I'm busy out looking for the next shiny thing to come along. Can I get a hell yeah on that one? Yeah. Holmes goes on. He says, the mind is the fashioning factor, and a circumstance of experience is a function of the mind's range, vision, and positiveness. So, one of the perennial questions that always arises is, now what? Which is the title of my talk. Oh my God, is he just getting started? I'm almost done. Just bear with me. Now we have discussed the value of questions, the value of seeking and finding and applying what we find, and the value of keeping it objective as to the engagement of the wisdom and revealed and the adjustments made and the adjustments to continually be made. Now we've started or deepened our spiritual practice of questioning everything, and the short answer to now what is to carry on, to rock on. Keep questioning and keep finding answers with a deeper understanding that always accompanies any spiritual practice. And that's the growth and evolving that results from that practice. Now we move forward with a little bit more knowledge. Now we move forward with a little bit more wisdom, a little bit more awareness and understanding, a little bit more empowerment. So when we get to the next spot, the next level, the next realm of awareness and understanding, we'll do this exact same thing we're doing here, which is objectively observe what we're doing, what we're choosing to do, and then extrapolate where those choices take us. We're reminding ourselves and each other of the inevitability of cause and effect, and putting our time, energy, attention, and resources into creating and co-creating the absolute best causes we can come up with, and releasing the how and the when questions, and focusing upon what is ours to do, which is focusing on the what, empowered by the why. And that moves us a little further on up the road and has us showing up there a little more aware, a little more present, with a deeper, wider, more expansive and life-affirming understanding that serves us in creating a greater experience for ourselves, and by default creating a greater experience for all those around us as well. And so it is. All right. This is November 2nd. All right, now let's look at our weekly affirmation on the top of page 6 in your programs. And it says, I understand a question and answer at the level of my understanding. This expands as each new answer and experience lifts me to new levels of knowledge. As I apply the wisdom gained, I continue to grow and evolve deeper into the infinite that is always available to me. All right. So let's just give ourselves this gift of this moment, the gift of our good attention, the gift of our awareness and recognition of something greater available to us available through us and available as us. We recognize that our life is one eternal sequence of curiosity and imagination that makes us energized enough to move forward and try new things, explore new avenues, seek and find new answers to the same questions we will have asked, we are asking, and we will continue to ask our entire life. We start to see that each question is accompanied by an answer, because by the time we can formulate the question, we are already close enough to the answer to find it. Every new answer changes our current level of awareness and understanding. It changes our current experience, and it leads us to the next question. So we can use that natural process with purpose, with being deliberate, with intention, and just continually question everything and seek and keep seeking, and know that whatever we know is just what we've learned so far. Everything in our life that we know, everything we understand, everything we know how to do was once something we didn't know. And that process continues for the rest of our time in this form. Our goal is not just to acquire knowledge, but to apply that knowledge and that wisdom so that it improves our experience of life, and by default improves what we are contributing to collective experience. We evolve and grow deeper into the infinite, and that infinite is always available to us as we keep ourselves available to it. We love this wonderful teaching and all the ways it shows up in our lives, and all the good that it brings to our attention, and all the good that we get to engage and share with those around us. We love this community of like-minded individuals that love and support each other. And we love this wonderful time together this morning, this beautiful life, this beautiful experience and day as we move forward with all of it. We allow this to become a more predominant idea, an expansive, life-affirming idea in our awareness. And we focus upon it, this expansion and the good that comes by default by means of it. And we love where this takes us now and forevermore. We deeply appreciate this wonderful time together to put this expansive idea into the law of cause and effect, knowing it is already responding with new ideas and new possibilities and new introductions and new opportunities for us to deepen our experience. And we do that as we say together, and so it is now. All right. And now we come to the time where we support this wonderful work we're doing together. We take the value we receive from the world for the value we bring to the world, and we pass that on with love and appreciation. As we do this, we will read our giving affirmation in the middle of page 6, and it says, "Divine love consecrates my gifts. They go forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper. They are evidence of my commitment, and they do their good and perfect work and return to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is now." All right, and now Chris is going to come back up and do a couple of more songs for us. Are you playing anywhere we can come see you?
Sorry, I never think about that. When am I? Oh, well, I'm doing the Live Strong benefit at 1, and then over at Dino and Leslie's house of the memorial at 3. So my Sunday's pretty well stacked up, which is great. Next weekend, I think I am way down south. There's bound to be a Moonlighters date coming up soon, the South Austin Moonlighters. We've got the Saxon Pub date, I think, coming. I don't know when.
Find more at chrisbeal.com.
Right, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to attempt something here because I think, well, I don't think, I know that it's the right thing to do. say good luck. Yeah, this is a new song that I wrote not too long ago, and it didn't make it to the Moonlighters album, which really doesn't mean anything other than it just doesn't fit with some other things that are going on there. So I may have to glance down a lot. It's a song called Thoughts and Prayers. Talk to myself in the second person, as if I'm talking to the both of us. The one that's here and the slightly missing, as if to reconcile the difference. The one that knows and one that wishes, yesterday and tomorrow. Talk to myself and we both listen, but what happens now is always tough to know. Thoughts and prayers, does anybody know just what they mean and where they all go? I know there's something going on. Showed it to me a long, long time ago. An inner voice, a hidden meaning behind the eyes of the people you know. We're well within an intention. We talk it out the only way we know. Thoughts and prayers, does anybody know just what they mean and where it all goes? I know there's something going on. You showed it to me such a long, long time ago. Thank you. Yeah, I thought that I find it peculiar that I do refer to myself when I'm talking in second person, which is either it means I've got something wrong or I've got something right. I'm not sure which. Yeah, there you go. At least I'm not talking in the third person. And then is this the last thing that we're doing, Walt? So we'll end on a tune called Carry Me On. So you asked the question, so what do we do now? Carry on. And this is a well-meaning song that it's like a lot of my songs, which are kind of framed as a question, but it's a song that was inspired by a piece of land that I visited. And on this piece of land was an old tractor, and it was the coolest looking tractor I think I'd ever seen. It was a Ford 9N, and you know about those, Tom. But I thought it was just really peculiar. Like, why do I like this so much? And what does it mean to me? Why, And I really started to extrapolate that, and this song came out of it, and it essentially is asking the question of, we're motivated by the things around us, and we don't always understand the why. So there was obviously something tied up in, what I saw in what could be of this piece of machinery that was made, in the 30s. And really what it was about was happiness and contentment. And what I was really looking for was what that would give to me. And that's why I wrote the song. If I remember how it goes. This is on one of the Moonlighters albums.
Well, I wish I had a tractor and some land to put it on. Hey, now to carry me on. And a house up in the corner where the trees were full grown. Hey, now to carry me on. And I wish I had a well with some water down in it. Hey, now to carry me on. I'd be living outside of the city limits. Hey, now to carry me on. In a big city life, well, all my peace and quiet is gone. But there's a porch light shining bright, and it's gonna carry me on. Oh, ain't you gonna carry me on? Well, I'm chasing that dollar for a piece of the pie. Hey, now to carry me on. Well, sometimes I wonder, I ask myself why. Hey, now to carry me on. Yeah, what keeps me going in the rat race? Hey, now to carry me on. I'm just sitting in the traffic trying to find my place. Hey, now to carry me on. In a big city life, yeah, all my peace and quiet is gone. But there's a porch light shining bright, and it's gonna carry me on. Oh, ain't you gonna carry me on? Better believe, I believe the things I can't see. The wind and a will now, they carry me. They carry me in this big city life. All my peace and quiet is gone. There's a porch light shining bright. It's gonna carry me on in a big city life. All my peace and quiet is gone. There's a porch light shining bright, and it's gonna carry me on. Oh, ain't you gonna carry me on? We all sing. Hey, now to carry me on. And again. Hey, now to carry me on. That's right, we got 2 more times, and you're wondering what to do. Hey, now to carry me on. Hey, yeah, yeah. Last time we all sang. Hey, now to carry me on. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Did it really cut out?
Well, it just shut off and I had to turn it back on.
No.
I got most of it
You got the meaningful parts.
You got, all right. All right, thank you, Chris. All right. And that's this. All right, now we come to times where we are grateful or had demonstrations of this teaching. I would like to say I'm grateful for my friend Dennis Merritt Jones, who gifted us this 30 Days of Conscious Gratitude Journal. And I recognize that today is November the 2nd, but it doesn't matter. You can you can fill in 2 days and you can match the calendar. You can start this on Tuesday afternoon or Thursday morning. And it's just about starting with day 1 and continuing and keeping track of things you're grateful for as a spiritual practice. And if you do it for 30 days, guess what? It's a regular spiritual practice. You are off to the races. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm also grateful that there were extra innings last night because I had a gig in Taylor, and I wasn't loaded up and leaving until like 10:20, and found it on the AM dial and got to listen to it. And by the time I got home, it was the 10th inning, because it's a drive to Taylor to South Austin. But anyway, we had a good gig, good fun, great crowd, and so that was good that it went extra so that I could actually watch it on TV. So that's good. And anybody else have something to share? Yes, Clark?
Kind of funny. I'm kind of grateful for the change in the hour, losing that hour this morning, because the dogs got me up to it. Each one, we have 3, and each one wanted successfully to go outside, so so okay, come on girls, and one at a time I took them out, and I thought, well, I'll go ahead and get up, because I thought it was 6 o'clock, and it was still dark, and then I asked, I looked at the clocks in the kitchen, and they were different, and I asked Josephine, did you reset anything, and she said, no, we lost an hour, and I said, oh, okay. So I used that hour in darkness to write my meditation, and just go within for a while, and actually achieve some other little tasks, and it was nice, I used that time constructively, and it didn't matter, that I got up at 5 instead of 6, it's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that it turned out to be a constructive time.
Yeah.
And not a complaining kind of thing.
Cool. All right. Well, yay God for that. And you must have time warped. Let's do the time. Back to the spring is when you lost that hour. They gave it back last night.
Oh, well.
I was thinking it's a matter of perspective on that.
Yeah.
If you're a clock, you lose the hour. But if you're a human, you actually gain.
Yeah. But yeah. It's all a relative thing. If you think getting or losing or gaining an hour is a big deal, talk to the people back when they changed to the Gregorian calendar. They lost 6 days or something. I was like, I want my 6 days. They were in the streets demanding their 6 days back. Anyway, Donna, you were good.
Yeah. Well, last weekend was the memorial days for my best friend. And during just one little thing to share, during the Saturday night event, we decided that we were going to just have a little fun, and we were all popping up in different places in the church. Wait, I was her best friend. No, I was her best friend. Everybody was her best friend. It was really funny. But I'm grateful that we had it all worked out, because there were some issues. But for 75 days, I was working with 3 other people planning this, and so I'm grateful that it's complete. I feel complete and full heart, at peace with where she is. And she's right here. And there's a song that she wrote, and one of the lines was, she came to the conclusion that life is for giving. And so I'm just taking that on in my daily spiritual practice to see, where am I giving today? Because that is what life is for.
It is.
And so I'm grateful. And it's interesting, the 4 of us who were planning this event, we were friends, but not close friends. They were all close friends with Donna, and now we are close friends.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yay, God, for that. And
I did.
Yes, Terry?
Just wanted to say a little bit on what Don was saying there. I mean, I just have I'm in such awe and appreciation of our music community here. And so many of the musicians are actually I'm friends with and really enjoy what they do to lift up our lives and, sometimes make us really think about things or just brighten our day or whatever it is that they bring into our existence, and it means a lot, And I know that when somebody like Donna Ruiz passes away, or a musician who has a crisis in our community, that we kind of think of them, unless we're close friends with them, as somebody, gee, that's too bad. This past week, Marcia Ball announced that she has ALS, and that's the second person in our music community who's now announced that they have ALS just in the past couple of months, and people passing away like Chris Gage, and so I just think that because I'm so grateful that I'm a part of, that I get to live in this community that has such talent and great inspiration and all that, but I think it's important that we acknowledge they're human too, and anything we can do to lift them up the way they lift us up, I think is really important.
Cool. All right. Yay, God, for that.
And speaking of lifting up, Friday night, Jeff Plankenhorn had a Dr. Plankenstein Halloween party at the Saxon. I had never been to that. That was so much fun. And I have to tell you, the work that he must put into curating that is just unbelievable. Chris played, and I'm sorry I didn't get a picture of you in your costume.
Psycho Santa.
Yes. It just was so much fun. Next year I encourage everybody to go. It really was fun. There's talent there that I'd never even heard of before, and just even some of the musicians never heard of some of these people. So it was really a lot of fun.
Cool. All right. You got it. All right. Let's look at your opportunities for application in your life. Keep questioning the way you are living and consider what else is possible. Know that any answer is never final, just the next step along the way to the next question, answer, and possibility. In keeping with our gratitude journal, next week I'm starting a gratitude series. Imagine that in Thanksgiving, or in November, which has Thanksgiving in it. And I'll talk about it, how it's a spiritual practice, and our musician is Jimmy Joe Natoli. So one of our favorites. So that'll be fun. Remember, the book study continues this Thursday on Zoom. You can find the link in the email or on the website. And let's say our closing affirmation as we get ready to go out and enjoy this beautiful day and life. And it says, I am an expression of infinite, divine, creative intelligence. Knowing a joyful serenity awaits my recognition and acceptance, I take this moment to deepen my understanding that I am perfect, whole, complete, and dynamic. My soul is forever established in life, love, light, power, peace, beauty, and joy. I lift my eyes to the divine in me, in those around me, and in all of life. I walk out into the world with an uplifted heart and a mind open to the infinite creativity of all life, and so it is now. All right, thank you very, very much. We will see you all next time. Yeah.